Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Wafi Akibin Abdullah. I'm from A4AS1201, Group 7, and my matrix number is 2020-874332. So today I will be presenting about greenhouse effect. So greenhouse effect, the definition of greenhouse effect is natural process that keep the earth warm and suitable for living organism to live. Okay, so we can see at the picture here, the sun's radiation travels toward the earth. About half is reflected or absorbed by clouds and the atmosphere. And the third one is a very important point. The rest reaches the earth where it is absorbed by ocean and land. So, you know, when earth absorbs the heat from the sun, it regulate the temperature of earth, which is suitable for us to live in. For example, we cannot live in a too high temperature or too low temperature, or else we might die. So the second slide is how greenhouse effect happens. When sunlight reaches the earth's surface absorbs the energy and reflects it back into the atmosphere in the form of infrared radiation. Some of this infrared radiation goes back to the space, but some is absorbed by the pollutant gases, which also known as greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. And for the example of these greenhouse gases are methane, carbon monoxide, and carbon dioxide. Then, the infrared radiation that absorbed by the greenhouse gases are re-emit the energy back to the Earth's surface as heat energy. This causing the Earth to heat up and temperature rise up. This phenomenon is known as greenhouse effect. So we proceed to the next slide. Okay, what is the importance and effect of excessive greenhouse gases? Okay, so the greenhouse effect is actually responsible for keeping the Earth warm and suitable. As I said in the previous slide, that we need a suitable temperature to live because we cannot live in a too high or too low temperature. But nowadays, as the greenhouse gases increase, more heat energy is trapped in the atmosphere, hence causing the Earth's temperature to continuously rising. This excessive heating of the Earth's surface is known as global warming nowadays. Okay, so what contribute to the world greenhouse gases to rise? Okay, for the first example is motor vehicles. So as we all know, motor vehicles come from vehicles that have engine and use the petroleum to operate. For example, in Malaysia we have many car produced in a year, and can we imagine we have 27 million of Malaysian citizens, and if we assume if we assume all Malaysian citizen have vehicles, can you imagine how many pollutant gases, for example carbon monoxide, that came from the motor vehicles produced in a year? This can lead to the rise of greenhouse gases, which is the carbon monoxide. So the second one, coal-fired power station. Okay, so the coal-fired power station burn the coal in a high temperature to convert the energy into electrical energy. So this electrical energy will be sent and will be distributed to house, to industry, factory, so that they can operate efficiently. But as the cons for this action is, when the coal is being burned at high temperature, it will produce smoke. This smoke is contain pollutant gases that can heat up the Earth's surface, hence contribute to the global warming rate. Okay, so the third one is industrialization. So industrialization is basically meaning that many new factory is open, As you know, when a factory is operated, they will produce, for example, like cement factory, maybe like box factory, plastic equipment factory. It will produce smoke. As you can see when we uh, travel along highway, for example, like Pasir Gudang in Johor. It's a very high pack factory area that we can when we can see many smoke is produced from factory due to when the factory operated, it will produce smoke, and this smoke help in help or contribute to the negative effect of greenhouse effect. Okay, so the fourth one is forest fire. Okay, so basically forest fire, we can recap back at year 2020, and the January of 2020, when the Australia forests uh, were burned. You know, when the forest is burned, we produce a lot of smoke. when the, and this smoke that and this smoke contain many pollutant gases that can that can contribute to the greenhouse effect, or the rising up of the greenhouse gases. So the fifth one is open burning of rubbish. Okay, open burning of rubbish we can know in Malaysia, if someone open burning rubbish, they can be sued, or they can be compound. So when we burning rubbish, we majority of people will burn the plastic, and plastic will produce toxic gases. So the last one is deforestation. Okay, so deforestation, basically when deforestation rate is too high, it can cause the increase in carbon dioxide concentration due to the decrease in photosynthesis activity. When there is no tree, the carbon dioxide absorption rate will be low, and when low, carbon dioxide will be many in Earth's surface. And when carbon dioxide, as you can know, carbon dioxide is very produce heat, so it will make Earth's temperature rising up. Okay, so we go to the last slide. So as we talked at the previous slide about global warming. So here is the some effects of global warming. The first one is the melting of ice. Okay, so the melting of ice and icebergs in the polar region that lead to the increasing of sea level. This caused the coastal residential areas and agriculture lands to submerge. Okay, so when the coastal residential areas is submerged, many casualties will occur, and it may take people life. And when agriculture lands submerged, it can decrease the food stock, and people will lead to hungry and death. So the second one is the second effect of global warming. The world climate also changing due to high rate of evaporation that causes the drying up of lakes and rivers. As the result, drought and expanded deserts occur. Okay, so the third one, deterioration of health is one of the serious effects of global warming. The high temperature leads to heat stroke that can take lives of many. The widespread of epidemic disease after flood. Okay. The high temperature leads to heat stroke that can take life of many. As we know, heat stroke is when a person is exposed to a heat in a long term, in a long duration. So when the temperature in our body is exceed the 37 up to 40, the cell within our body will cannot function efficiently, because the optimum temperature for cell work is at 37, and when the temperature exceed the optimum temperature, it will denature the cell. It can lead to death because the cell cannot operate as it is. So the widespread of epidemic disease after flood. As you can know, when the flood, the water level rise up, and the water contains many bacteria and virus, bacteria and virus. So people exposed to the flood water, when they expose, the virus or bacteria can penetrate their immune system by the flood water that can cause widespread of epidemic, and rate of casualties will be high and increase. Okay, so that's all from me. I hope this presentation helps you to understand more about greenhouse effect, and as the conclusion, greenhouse effect is actually good for human because we need optimum temperature to live and to stay alive. But when we violate the greenhouse effect or the natural process, like we keep doing things that contribute to global warming to rise up, this is can lead to a very another serious like death. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.